The National Student Financial Aid Scheme dismissing claims it implemented a new payment system without properly engaging with student organisations. Uproar over the implementation of a payment system over the last few weeks. Last week, students at the University of Pretoria, the University of Limpopo and the Tshwane University of Technology gathered at the union buildings. They wanted an intervention from the Department of Higher Education. Students saying that they're unhappy with the efficiency of the scheme's new direct payment system.
Among the issues that the CEO discussed with stakeholders was the introduction of direct payment and taking over student accommodation during a meeting held on the 15th of September 2022. In this meeting, these matters were introduced to universities, vice chancellors, and this was also introduced at the previous meeting as well. We must emphasize at the outset that we are therefore worried that the disturbances in question are attributed to an insinuation that NSFAS is imposing a system that has not been properly canvassed with all relevant stakeholders. As a matter of fact, we pride ourselves in being an organization that promotes accessibility and consultation, and the evidence is there for us to see.
Well, all of this, of course, is part of our national debate and the conversations that you'll have seen and taken part in many times, sometimes arguments, about how we fund our students through the NSFAS system. One of the problems that many students have is simply getting to and from their campuses. Can you imagine being at a university in Tshwane and hearing news that you must now come home to Polokwane for a family or a funeral occasion, and yet you don't have the money to get to Seshego and back again? Now, a new service that's supposed to help students in that position, it's called Olimoflo. It's a not-for-profit organisation. Its founder is Bonnke Shipalana. Bonnke, good afternoon to you, and thank you for your time. How does this work? What exactly are you offering students?
Steve, if we can go back a bit, I mean, currently it costs just over or below 60,000 Rand for a first-year student to study at most of the institutions, and that excludes books, that excludes transportation, it also excludes residency. So we felt that there is a need to try and cover some of the variable costs, specifically for students who are based in or come from Limpopo and Mpumalanga. 80% of all institutions now are outside those two provinces. So if you're from Mpumalanga or Limpopo, you not only have a burden of paying for the cost of study, but the cost of transportation. As you said, there might be a strike happening at UCT or somewhere in Cape Town. Now you have to travel from Cape Town back home, and most of the students can't afford. So our main focus is to assist those who are in need of transport costs from either Limpopo or Mpumalanga to any institution in the country.
And how do you actually get the money? What do you need to do?
What you need to do is just send us your name, surname, ID number, student number, institution that you're studying at, where you come from and where you're going and when you want to leave. We don't believe that there is any need for us to make young black people who we all know that are struggling economically now to justify or write us a letter to say why I'm poor. So we're not going to sit down and try and evaluate how poor you are. Do you have parents? Do your parents work? We just want to help those who feel somewhere in need, deep down, are in need of help.
Okay, so then you send them the money and they use the money to pay for the transport, is that right?
No, to try and make sure that we don't lose money. We'll pay for the transport for you. We'll send you the ticket details or information, and you can either go there. We'll decide on the type of mode of transport that we'll use. It can be a bus, it can be a train, or it can be a plane. But we'll send you the flight details. We don't offer you money directly.
Okay. And obviously this is going to require money, right? So you'll have some of your own funds, but to do this sustainably, you'll have to get some of this money back.
Not really. I think we started this campaign last year. I mean, we bought mattresses, about 300 for a school in the Free State. We bought the desks for schools in Zanini. We bought computers. So we've been building up in terms of how to help people. We're currently using our own money as a company, the Alua Group, with the hope that when we start and people can see the effectiveness of this campaign or this project, certain companies will be willing to partner with us and help us. But we don't believe in asking before we can prove that there is a need and there is a mechanic of actually solving that particular need.
Okay, now that makes sense. And then, I mean, Does someone need to justify why they go home? Why they need to go home to you?
Not really. I think they can explain to us, but we're not going to sit down and try and analyze which cost is bigger. Is your grandmother's funeral bigger or is the strike bigger? But they can explain that schools are reopening, I'm going back to school. Or schools are closing, I'm going back home for holiday. Or there's an emergency at home. So we'll gladly accept any explanation, but I just think we're not going to sit down and really try and compare challenges to say your challenge is better than so-and-so's challenge. All we need to be sure of is you are leaving a particular institution and you're studying there and you're going home, or you're leaving home to that particular institution. That's why it's critical for you to send us your student number and also your institution, so we can make sure that you are actually studying there.
Do you have any idea of how many people are likely to need this kind of service? I mean, how many people actually are going to need this kind of help in stark numbers? Quite difficult to know, I imagine.
It's quite difficult to know, and if you focus on that, you will never start. We know that the need is bigger than our resource. The need is bigger than our pocket. But if we can help 10 out of 100, it's better than doing nothing.
Bonnke, we've seen so many issues around what students face now, how difficult it is. We spend as a country quite a large amount of money on higher education. NSFAS is operating as well as it can. I sometimes wonder if we need to relook at the whole system. It's become quite politicized as well, I think, which maybe makes it difficult. Do you have any other suggestions of how we can get better value for money? We want as many students, particularly as many black students, to go through the system as we can get. You know, that's basically how you create a middle class. And yet I sometimes think we're not getting the outcome that maybe we should be seeing. I'm not sure why that is.
Without speaking on behalf of the Department of Education or NSFAS, I just think that for us as entrepreneurs who come from that system, I come from Kwankwawa. I was studying at the University of Port Elizabeth. Sometimes I never went home during March and September holidays because of the cost and the traveling time. So based on your own experience, I think as business people, we can stand up and try and take hold of one pain that is cost for our youth, for our country, and try and solve it. And for us as the Alua Group, currently, we feel that transportation is one element that we can start with, and hoping that down the line, we can stand in the gap for all our parents and students. So I don't want to blame the Department of Education. I don't want to blame NSFAS. I just want to encourage all entrepreneurs. Stand up. If you have got an extra cent, please give it back by helping those in need, especially students, because if we can have a good working class in South Africa, then the country will become a better country.
Bonnke Shipalana, thank you, founder of the NGO Olimoflo. I really appreciate the time.